Hello, this is On Imagination with the Healing Garden. Stephen Hopkins, delegate of Rhode Island, 13th Continental Congress. Hell, in all my years, I have never found a topic that was so dangerous that we couldn't even talk about it. Hell yeah, I'm up for debating anything. Rhode Island says yay. Unquote. I have a lot of people who tell me not to talk about certain things. And I grew up with the concept of don't talk about it. At the same time, I'm looking at no. I already know the answer to this. Plato. No, I already know the answer to this. I know exactly what this is. This is where uneducated people have no idea because they don't know. So there's a lot of narcissists wearing authority clothing who are talking and advising and they don't know. But I know. So we're going to go over this. Exploratory dialogue is a practice called formal argument and debate. I am a logician of 40 years. I was 4 when I first found logic, proved that God does not exist in church, and I have been doing nothing but logic since. And that was the year 1984. Poetic justice. I am a logician, first and foremost. And formal argument and debate is not screaming at people. Formal argument and debate is void of emotion. It stands on the backbone of cold, hard logic. This is the very first law. Oh, it's the second law of logic. The first law is define the word. So you define the word. And the second thing you do is remove all emotion. You have to be in a total state of objectivity in order to step into the world of logic. Cold, hard logic. I have been doing this all of my life. I know nothing else but cold, hard logic. The 10th ethic states that emotions are always right, and they are. Emotional fluidity. And the 11th ethic, logic, is logical navigation, using emotions to steer and direct, in addition to emotional fluidity and logical navigation. What you end up with is incentive, motivation, steering, navigation, the ability to take the anger or the emotion and steer it in the direction that you want it to go to transfer the potential energy over into kinetic energy strategically. Hence this podcast. Exploratory dialogue is true logical formal argument and debate. The stuff that most people are subjected to, where an asshole shouts down at you, is not formal argument, nor is it debate. It is aggression, it is violence, and it is abuse. And I am really sick and tired of narcissists using my logic as a weapon to abuse people in the name of logic. So we're going to start by rectifying that with education. Logic is absolutely without emotion. It is for the sake of opening the mind to explore. Going back to not Caesar Rodney, Stephen Hopkins, who said, there is no topic that is so dangerous we can't even talk about it. Exploratory dialogue is the type of a discussion where you explore the self through dialogue. And that's the true definition of formal argument and debate. It is explorative. Exploration. It's pioneering. If you are arguing to persuade, oh, well, we call that narcissistic psychological manipulation and abuse, and that's something entirely different. Exploratory dialogue is for the sake of education, pushing your boundaries and learning. The abuse that narcissists wield on you using anger and loathing is not at all logic, nor is that formal argument, and it sure as hell is not debate. If somebody is emotional or angry while they are debating you, they are lying to you. They are abusive motherfuckers, and you should not at all be entering into a discussion with them. I get really angry at abusers who lie and deceive to take advantage of uneducated people. So yeah, I get pissed. Hence this podcast. So we are going to break this down. I've had a lot of people telling me what I should or shouldn't talk about. And I see things about the world that you're not going to notice if you're not educated. The problem is when the educated are the abusers. I'm saying it. How are the uneducated ever going to rise above? It is a fact that over the last 20 years, the IQ has dropped 20 points. People are getting dumber because the educators are narcissists. The educators are narcissists. They are claiming authority they have no right to. And they know what they are doing because the 1960s is substantial in the data. Oh my God, is it? In fact, there is substantial data all over the entire world showing that the United States is going in the toilet. I don't want to talk about that right now. What I want to talk about is exploratory dialogue. And I really want to focus in on whether or not something should be talked about. Because I've had a lot of people tell me that there's no purpose in talking. Well, narcissists would say that. So the purpose of talking is to explore a topic and get it out in the open and begin the conversation. But there is a time to stop talking and transfer it over into action. That's what we're going to talk about. That's a skill. The life skill of knowing when your conclusion has been met and you need to transfer it into action. It is a skill most people are not skilled in. Now, what you are really doing, the purpose of exploratory dialogue is to reach the point of comprehension. The point of comprehension, the philosopher in me really wants to dive into that. The point of comprehension, the point. Oh, I have so much to philosophically say about the point of comprehension. Let's do it. The point of comprehension is a literal and a metaphorical location that exists where the beginning and the end meet. It is where the material plane and the conceptual plane of the abstract come together. It is also a state of mind and a state of being both at the same time. When you are at the true point of comprehension, metaphor and literal thinking all happens at the same time, and you can see both sides of the coin instantaneous. And that is when you realize, oh, half of the world exists on the concrete plane, speaking literally for them, and half of the other people are on the abstract plane, speaking literally for them. And if you live on the abstract plane, speaking literally, it's going to sound like a metaphor to those people. And if you're over there on the material plane, speaking literally, it's going to sound like a metaphor to these people. And only at the point of comprehension, Plato's point, when you are standing between the two worlds of abstract and the material plane, can you finally understand and hear and sort both the metaphor and the literal at the same time to know which side of the mirror each person is standing on? That is the point of comprehension. It is the point of truth. It is the point of true perspective. Because the point of comprehension is also your point of origin and also your point of the self, the defined self. Only at the point of comprehension do you have relativity to understand precisely where you stand on every single topic, no matter what. That is when you realize that everything is real. There is no such thing as fiction. And that is when you realize precisely where everyone is in relative to the point of comprehension, which is why we say things like, you have missed the point. The purpose of life is to get to the point of comprehension. If you do not live at the point of comprehension, you are not going to know what truth is. You're going to debate it because you don't know, because you are not at the point of comprehension. You have to live at the point of comprehension in order to know when you are being lied to, when you are being deceived. You stand at the point of comprehension and people cannot lie to you because you can see all truth at the point of comprehension, because you can see all reality at the point of comprehension. The point is amazing. The life journey and the discovery of the self is the pursuit of the point. That is the point. That is what life is all about. It is getting to the point. Your purpose in life is arriving at the point. It is a journey. It is not easy. I have mastered the art of walking people through to the point of comprehension. It is an extraordinary journey. Every one of us is on it, whether you want to be or not. Most people have abandoned the journey. And at the point of comprehension, you can see precisely where they are in relativity to the point of comprehension. Exploratory dialogue is the ability to enter into all possible discussions so that you can better understand the point of comprehension. It's very much like here's the point of comprehension at the top of this pen, and people are here, and then there's people here, and then there's people here, and then there's people here, and you don't quite know which of all those points are the actual truth, and therefore, because you lack omniscience, you have to ask every single person what their perspective is so you can integrate all of the perspectives so you can see the point. Or alternatively, you can stand at the point of comprehension yourself and see it all at the same time yourself and go, oh, that is the point of comprehension. I understand. So when someone lies to you, you can go, well, that's bullshit, because you can see lie and you can see truth and you can see every mask in the world. The point of comprehension is an extraordinary place of existence. No matter how I slice it, I see absolutely no alternative for me at this time. I have one door in front of me. I have one door. And going through that door, there is no other way. There's only one path because that is truth. When you stand at the point of comprehension, you can see every single delusion. Now, you can choose to keep your delusion. I am not for those people. But there are a lot of people who want the delusion gone. There are a lot of people who are screaming for the truth. There are a lot of people who want to know what's really going on. And there are a lot of narcissists and wolves that I call psychologists and teachers who are clawing at people to keep the delusion up so that they can continue to farm them. I am for the people who want the truth, who are desperate to break down the delusion so they know what they are dealing with. And that's really it. What am I dealing with? That was a question that I asked through all of my healing, my whole life. What am I dealing with? I have been asking that question since I was 4 years old. What am I dealing with? Asking the question, what are you dealing with, is really screaming for the perspective of the truth. So you can figure out your proper equation to problem solve. Because if you don't know what you're dealing with, you don't know who the liars are. If you don't know what you're dealing with, you don't know who to believe. If you don't know what you're dealing with, you don't know who the narcissists are and who your friends are. If you don't know what you're dealing with, you don't know what direction to go. Now, either you know what you're dealing with, or you don't, or you think you do when you don't. The majority of the people on this planet have no idea what they're dealing with, and they're not happy. Eventually, and these are a mental progression, it's extraordinary to watch the mental progression, the stages of delusion falling down. It begins with the oblivious state of, I don't know, everything seems to be fine. But the more logical you become, the more you start to realize, what am I dealing with? And you're confused a lot of times. The state of confusion is a red flag that you sense something is up. And then there's the stage where you know something is up, you know it. You've got the self-authority to say, you're fucking with me, but you still don't know what you're dealing with. And then there's the state where you decide, I'm going to go find out what I am dealing with. And you become a pilgrimage of finding out what you are dealing with, because there's a lot of bullshit and you want the truth. And then there's the stage where you prioritize the truth, no matter what. Those are my people. The problem is the people who are preserving and building the delusion, they are my nemesis. I said a few days ago, I want a nemesis. I have found my nemesis. My nemesis. I wanted a nemesis. I did. I wanted it. I was like, you know what? I feel like I should have a nemesis. I found my nemesis. The nemesis are the people who prey on uneducated people who are asking for the truth. And they get in my way and they get in your way. And I'm going, what the hell is this? And you're going, what am I dealing with? And I'm like, I will tell you. And then they go, no. And I'm going, what are you doing? Get the fuck out of the way. They want to know the truth. So I have a lot of people who are angry with me because they want the delusion. The problem is, ironically, you're not going to solve your problem if you're not honest with the problem. I'm going to say that again. You're not going to solve the problem if you're not honest about the problem. You are not going to solve your problem if you're not honest about the problem. What you are dealing with is a shark tank that is optional. I wrote a whole article on my website called The Sharks versus the Guppies. You are in a shark tank and it's optional. And they don't want you to know that it's optional. That's what you are dealing with. You were born in a shark tank where you were told there is nothing else. And they lied to you, because I don't live in a shark tank. I've been out of the shark tank for 2 years. And when I discovered that there was a way out of the shark tank, I took it. And I've been out for 2 years. I don't live with a monetary income or government aid in New York City for 2 years. It's a delusion that you need money. That's one of their lies. I've been doing it for 2 years. We're going to walk you through how this is done. What you need is assets. What you need are resources. And what you need is problem-solving skills. You have those 3 things, you don't need money. Not at all. Money is actually valueless. It's valueless. It is absolutely valueless. If you trade your resources for money, you're actually getting less in value than if you trade your resources for someone else's resources. That is how valueless money is. Literally look up the debt, federal government debt. It's common knowledge. You don't know this because they did not educate you in economics. I use something called power economics, which is found in philosophy and ontological physics. So you don't know about it. But when you study power economics, which is the same stuff that Rich Dad, Poor Dad studied, then you know the shit. Then you know the shit. I'm going to say again, they're lying to you. And when you're sitting there going, what am I dealing with? And you're trying to figure out who to trust, who the abuser is, where you should go, what you should do. I don't sit here and tell you what you should or shouldn't do. Not at all. I will never do that. I'm going to give you the tools so you to figure it out for yourself. That's what I do. I educate you. I enable you. I don't enable you. That's disabling. I empower you and I encourage you. I give you the resources so you can figure it out for yourself. I just teach you the education, logic, communication, and problem solving. Because when you do that, your brain turns on. And then you know what you are dealing with because you are closer to the point of comprehension. Once you get to the point of comprehension, you can't live in the shark tank. You can't. And better yet, once you have the ability to get to the point of comprehension, you know how to get out of the shark tank. You know how to enter the guppy tank, and you know how to make yourself a prosperous life with ease because you have the skills to do so. Like I said, the real truth is you are living in a shark tank with a bunch of narcissists, and it's optional. And they don't want you to know that. So, is it productive or healthy to talk about a problem? Yes, yes, it is. If it is with strategic deliberation to educate, then yes, it is absolutely vital. It is absolutely vital that we talk about this stuff. And then we turn it over into action. Taking action is 100% a life skill, which we teach at the Healing Garden. I cannot do anything without it being ethical. My ethics will not allow it. I am honor bound. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. I am honor bound. So one of my challenges that I am currently problem solving is how to live ethically because I am honor bound to do so. And one of the obstacles that I have at the moment is how to provide you with the information that you need to learn more ethically without unethically selling to you. And I don't know how to do that because I know how the narcissists do it, but that's not ethical. But a lot of people watch my videos and they want to know more. And I don't know how to do it because I have not yet figured out the right and the ethical path. So I am in the process right now of actually researching through application to figure out the best way to give you the information you need because I hate talking about problems and not offering solutions. I really hate talking about problems and not giving solutions. Awareness is not the first stage of change. Awareness is a symptom, and if we were properly taught math, we would know that. Fortunately, I didn't learn from those assholes. So the real catalyst for change is education. And because educators are narcissists, They're not going to teach you this information, which is why they haven't, which is why the majority of the planet is in a shithole. So chain reaction science is the core of logic. And one of the skills that you learn in logic and chain reaction science is the catalyst, because that's where all the solutions are. But because you weren't taught problem-solving skills, you don't know how to find the catalyst. So the catalyst is the thing that causes the chain reaction. It's the thing that causes the thing that causes. This is really, really important because the order of operations matters. It's not the cause, that's a symptom. It's the thing that causes. A lot of people confuse the cause, which is just the first symptom, with the catalyst. And it's not. It's just the first symptom. The first symptom is visible. The catalyst is always invisible. So the question is always, where is the invisible catalyst? With change, it's education. It's education. Awareness is the first symptom of education. So when you talk about something, what you are really doing, if you are doing it properly, is you are using exploratory dialogue to educate so you can figure out the awareness you need to strategically navigate your action with deliberation into something productive and positive. And that is my mission. That is my mission, to teach people the proper education that they require to get the appropriate awareness with the strategic deliberation to show them how to navigate their anger, frustration, annoyance into action to actually make the change necessary in life. This is chain reaction science. Anna'sHealingGarden.org. Let's start you there. I'm still trying to figure out how best to deliver well, I'm going to go back to my theater and stage because that's my comfort zone and that's what I know. This would be the part where the town crier says, "Hear ye, hear ye. Anyone who wishes to participate, please go to X." And I would tell you to go to my 12 ethics email challenge to start. That is a really good place to start. Because the 12 ethics is Plato's curriculum, but the 12 ethics are also the stepping stones to change, ethical change. Now, logic is the cold-hearted bitch of truth. I don't sugarcoat anything. Dr. Aziz Gazapura has a book called Not Nice. Read it. Nice is another red herring, and it's another mask. I am all about logic, cold, hard bitch of truth. But I'm also about being as honest and as blunt as I possibly can. I believe I said the words, be brave, be bold, and be blunt. That was my second mantra in life. My first was Shakespeare, to thine own self be true. To thine own self be true. And be brave, be bold, be blunt. Because that's how you know people aren't bullshitting you. And I know that every single one of us, myself included, comes from a place where the bullshit and the masks and the niceties are all high. And they spoon feed you nice to hide their deceit. I don't do that. I'm brave, I'm bold, I'm blunt. Because logic is a cold, hard bitch of truth. And that's how you know I'm being real with you. Thank you so much. And may the kindest of words always find you.